And a good morning to all of you. And I'm looking at the screen here and first of all, my mic is coming through the wrong thing. All right, that should be a better sounding mic. And also I see that I am quite full of color. Let's see if we can drop that down a bit. Anyway, welcome everybody. This is a busy week for me. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Let's move this down here. Let's drop the temperature. There we go. Okay. Anyhow, I'm flying to Brazil on Wednesday, to Sao Paulo. Let's see what happens. I know that we're just going to find out as I get there. I'm going to a convention, and if you're there, fantastic. And if not, well, hopefully I'll take a lot of footage and give you you'll find out some cool stuff when I get back. Alrighty. Well, let's see. This is a thing where I answer questions. So if you have questions, ask them, and I might and probably will answer many of them, but I don't answer all of them. And I don't answer necessarily questions about reviews per se. I will say something though that somebody asked. Where are my questions? Where do the questions start? Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Someone asked if there's any coverage of The Witcher Old World coming. I don't normally answer these, but I'm talking about this one here briefly because I don't know where the game is. So I backed the game, and this was a while ago, so the game got sent to my old address. I drove to my old house, and it was not there. No one knows where it is, blah, blah, blah. So, and the company didn't send us a review copy. So I love to take a look at the game, but we just don't have a copy. Angela got the beef jerky. Well, make sure that you tell them that we sent that to them. Alrighty, let's see here. My in-laws live 30 minutes from the Albanese factory. I'm going to go there in 2 weeks. Can I send some down to the Dice Tower so you can never eat Haribo again? You can. I don't know what. I don't promise we're not going to eat the other ones ever again, though. Who in the studio was most excited for expeditions to get to the table? Well, I would say Mike, but Mike's in our annex. So, I don't know. I think we were all interested in it. I don't know that anyone was like super excited about it, but I don't think we were all eager to play it. So, where did we land on it? Well, that you'll find out in a couple weeks. Got some opinions on that one. It's a shame that the Kickstarter for the Magnetic Pictures guy can't. I agree. They're fantastic, but not enough people backed it. I don't get it. I think maybe it's something you have to see in person, but they are fantastic. Has running Dice Tower gotten harder as you've grown or easier as more hands have been hired? Definitely harder. Definitely harder. And I don't mean that as a complaint at all. There's just a lot more that I have to deal with and handle, especially on macro levels. When I was by myself, I just did everything myself, but I also didn't do a whole ton of stuff. But I'm still fine. What's your favorite non-board game related cons? I haven't been to too many non-board game related cons. So I would think my favorite non-board gaming con I've ever been to, probably dog shows when I was a kid. I like going to dog shows. Or a wildlife show. I've always enjoyed those as a kid when we went to them. I'm looking for good crushed red pepper. I thought you had an opinion on it in the past. Do you have? Yes, I do. Hang on. Let me show you. Let me see if I can find the one that I used. I don't have the brands in front of me. There's a specific brand. Yeah, here it is. It's called Flat Iron. The Flat Iron ones are fantastic. They have multiple... and that's one word, I believe. Let me look here. Flat Iron. Flat Iron. Well, you have to look up. Flat Iron has... Is it? Yeah, Flat Iron Pepper Company. They have a jalapeno green chili flakes one. They have a smoky flakes. Then they have a ghost chili and a habanero one, and they're all really, really good. I really like them. I bought them for my dad. I was very happy with them. So, All right. Hello, I'm super new at this. Did a couple deck builders, now enjoying Castles of Burgundy. What would be my next step in embracing other styles? Honestly, just pick games that you think that look interesting to you. I mean, because there's all different styles. I mean, if you like deck builders and you like Castles of Burgundy, which is very different games, maybe you'll like a heavy Euro. Maybe you'll like something that's, rolling dice. Just try games out and see what you like. Was there any major reason for not attending the UK Games Expo? Yeah, money and time. Those are my two reasons I don't go to every con. I mean, we would love to go to cons, but see, I said this before, but I call it the George R. R. Martin effect, right? He goes to so many cons and does so much stuff, he never writes his books. I don't want to get to the point where the Dice Tower, we're going to cons all the time, and we're never actually playing and reviewing games. We could go to UK Games Expo. I mean, it would have been very expensive, and it's one of our more expensive cons to go to. If the UK Games Expo helps bring us in, which we talked briefly about it at Essen, but nothing really came of that. But I didn't push it either from my end of things. But if they don't, and we run a booth and had promos, the promos at UK Games Expo do not cover the costs of us coming in even a little. So it would be fun, but it would also be expensive, like I said, and time consuming. So that's why we don't go to a lot of cons. We just can't go to all of them. Let's see here. Regarding the Andress Odyssey, why Bob as a name for a Titan? I don't know. I always end up calling one of my mechs Bob. I think it's all the way back from when he named the planet Bob in that cartoon movie from way back when, Titan AE. I don't know. I always name a Titan Bob. There's no reason. I just think I'm just always amused by it. We are less than 2 months to Gen Con. Is there anything exciting you're looking forward to this year? I'll probably do a video closer to Gen Con saying the things I'm excited about as we do. Tom, can I give you a gift next weekend? You mean this weekend at the con? Oh, just come up and say hi to me if you want. Unless it's like a fist to the face for a review I've done. My favorite part of Zelda so far, I have to say, the process of getting to the temples is pretty fun. I made a lot of progress in the game. I got the Master Sword. I've beaten 2 of the temples. I have 40 shrines under my belt, but that's also because I'll go into a shrine and look at it and go, nah. And then there's like 15 shrines on my map that I just haven't finished yet. I usually use them for jumping points. I've freed the village from monster attacks. I've discovered a lot of stuff underground. There's still a lot of things I need to do in the game, I suppose, to get things up. One of the things I don't do a lot of, you might be surprised, is all this, you see it online, all these people building machines. I don't do a lot of that. I do it when I have to. And I'm sure you can build all kinds of cool machines. And I use things in fun ways sometimes on the surface, but I just kind of like go around and explore. Right now, my main thing is I look at the map and say, where have I not been, and go there and check it out. I'm thinking about doing another temple. What's my opinion on grilled cheese? Grilled cheese is fantastic. However, I like my grilled cheese to have onion on it very much. And ham, if possible. And tomato. And, I just like a cheese sandwich, really. But let's see. What is the pepper for? So the pepper flakes, you can put them on anything. The obvious thing is pasta or pizza. It works really well on anything Italian, lasagna, stuff like that. But putting them on chicken is really good, grilled or fried chicken. Not fried chicken, but sauteed chicken. I like them on rice. They're just really good. They're good on broccoli, Sam Healy. I'm not Sam Healy. Flipside Gaming Channel. Your thoughts? I think it's great that he's doing it. I saw, I think, one video. I haven't been on YouTube for a while, so watching other videos. So I have to get around to watching that. What criteria do you use when determining when taking down a review and making a new review is merited? I don't know. Gut. I take down a review. In this case, I said, well, the rule that we missed was something that I complained about a lot in the review. It may have affected my opinion on the game in general. All of our opinions possibly. So I wanted to fix that. That's all. What are some of my favorite hot sauces? Well, I'm getting less hot as time goes by. So I'm trying all sorts of things. I tend to like fruit in my hot sauces, so anything mango habanero is a good combo for me. I tend to like the yellow peppers the most. I like green peppers. But as long as there's a good flavor involved, I picked up a lot of different sauces in both Jamaica and the Bahamas when I was there for the cruise, and so far I've liked all of them. I think they're all pretty good. I lose a lot when I play board games. Any advice on how to win more? You can go on Board Game Geek and ask people for strategies and stuff, but I don't know. Then it's up to you. I don't know that I care if I lose all the time. I lose a lot. I don't like getting shellacked. Most people don't like getting shellacked. But if I'm involved in the game, and like I just lost a game that's sitting down here that we just played right before I did this. I lost. But I didn't get murdered in it. And I was happy with what I did. I had a fun time playing. Rock bands make more money selling at concerts and not making more money in a studio. But that's a very different thing. It's a very, very different thing. We've been enjoying donating games to our local library. Does your local library lend board games? I don't know. It's been a while since. I don't think so. I don't go to the library that often. My kids go to the library. My wife takes them to the library. We have a librarium pretty close here that has books and virtual reality and all kinds of stuff. But they get books and then they read the books. I borrow my books from Amazon. I'm part of Amazon Unlimited, and that's where I get my books from. Was there ever a time that you considered bringing your dice down to publishing? No, I never considered that. My consideration, which is what I'm doing, is working with Arcane Wonders on the Dice Tower Essentials line, which are really cool. Did you look into the Legend of Heroes Trails JRPGs? I did not. I apologize. I don't play a lot of video games. I play like one at a time, and right now I'm playing a lot of Zelda. When I'm done with Zelda, I'll move on to. But I usually play one game a lot, and so I have several games. I have several games on my Steam Deck too that I want to play. Let's see. Does the Chief do unboxing videos? He does not. Leading up to the Wind Temple is amazing. Yeah, it was really fun. I was surprised at how fun that one was. But folks, I've cheated twice now in Zelda, and I have no shame on this. One was in the Wind Temple when I was fighting the final boss. My son kept saying, "You're messing up, come on!" And I had like the final boss like half dead, and it had taken me quite a long time to get to that point. And I was like, "Fine, you do it," and I gave him the control, and he did it very quickly. And there was another time where I had to do a certain trial in a certain amount of time, and I could not get it done. I was like, $5, and if you do it for me. And he spent, I don't know, 10 minutes on it and got it. So I'm using my son. If you could shrink a huge animal into a small house pet, what would it be? I don't know. A bear? Like a panda bear? I don't know. Let's see. Doobie-doobie-doo. What's the craziest thing you built in Zelda? Nothing really, right? I haven't built anything super crazy. I just kind of just build stuff, and we laugh about how stupid some of it looks, but I'm pretty bad at building it. Given your enjoyment of Twilight Struggle, have you gone back to 1989 in recent years? I haven't. Thoughts on why Twilight Struggle's been a bigger success? Well, it's probably a better game. That's not objective. I'm just a gut feeling. But also, Twilight Struggle covers the entire thing, and people like looking at the whole global thing. 1989 is an interesting year, and it definitely affected some people's lives dramatically. But Twilight Struggle covers the entire globe, which I think is why it's more popular. I love the Lord of the Rings LCG, but I'm disappointed how expensive it is for just a deck of cards. Do you think this model will eventually fail as we continue to get spoiled with huge production values? No, because I think people don't have room for huge production values. And also, when you buy a game, you're not just buying the production, you're buying the thought and process that went into that. Also, Lord of the Rings LCG has lasted for a bit now, so I think it's okay. How can you turn out of a shrine? I have great self-control. It's not really self-control. It's that I get bored trying to figure out the puzzle, and I'm like, nah, I'd rather just go explore. And then I leave. How do you feel about when a company launches another crowdfunding campaign for an expansion for their game that just fulfilled? Do you think they should wait a certain amount of time? I would wait a certain amount of time. I wish they would. I'm like, well, you haven't even got all the feedback yet. Don't you want to hear about how people are receiving it before you do your expansion? But I get it. I get why they do it. Sure, I like them to wait, but they also want to strike while the iron's hot. I think Violet and Ruby are getting more comfortable on camera and are doing good reviews. Do you think either would ever try to do a review independently? I don't think they have the gumption or want to do that. I walk in and then immediately out of the Proving Ground shrine, says Garrett. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I used to do that. Now I'm like, can I do it? The problem with the Proving Ground shrine is you get so close to beating it and then you die. I've beaten 2 so far. They're hard. What's the biggest improvement the Dice Tower has done in the last 12 months? I think the biggest improvement we did was doing more group reviews. I think that's really helped us out. If you didn't live in Florida, where would you live? I'd live somewhere else. And I'm not saying that to be snarky, honestly, because I've decided that wherever I live, I'm going to enjoy it. I love Florida. I think Florida's a great place. I think people's negative opinions of Florida are crazy. And I like everything about Florida. There's disadvantages to living in Florida. Traffic ain't great where I live. We're really far away from everything else, but I love the weather. In the evenings, it's gorgeous, and temperatures are fantastic. I like the mixing of cultures here. Wherever I go, I find stuff I like. Did you read any memoirs or biographies? No, but I've actually... I was looking at, what did I do here? I took some pictures of some books just so I'd remember. Maybe not. I thought I took pictures of books. I was at the bookstore. Oh yeah, I took some pictures of some books and I thought, maybe I'll get these. But I like biographies. I like to read biographies. Do you still have any old video game consoles or games? No, I don't. Did we watch Robin Hood yet? No. The old Disney animated version's a classic. You know what we just watched last night? I said to the kids, you have 2 choices here. We're going to watch Lord of the Rings, or we'll watch a really dumb movie. So the vote was for a really dumb movie. So we watched the newest Asterisk and Obelix, The Middle Kingdom, which is a really stupid movie. Asterisk and Obelix are really dumb. And I don't mean that to, I'm not kind of I get that the comic is a huge hit in Europe, and I like the comic too. But that doesn't make it any less silly the way everything is portrayed and done. It's not high class here. But they enjoyed that one. So that's what we've watched. So I brought in their culture that way. Would you consider doing a video or a series of video on how to get a design from the idea to published? Maybe. That's an interesting idea. I don't know how qualified I am to do that. What do you think of speedrunners in video games? Well, and are there equivalents in board games? I don't think there's the equivalent in board games. I don't know that I'm opposed to speedrunning. I mean, if you want to speedrun. I just don't know how interesting I find it. You know, the idea that the speedrunners in video games. Sorry, got distracted for a second there. So speedrunners, the idea that you want to run through it as fast as you can is fine, but I'm impressed with it, I suppose. I watch it and I'm impressed with it. I don't watch many speedruns, though. Usually they try to use some sort of glitch, just running through it as fast as possible. Sometimes when you watch a speedrun, half of it is watching the scenes, and you want to try to skip through those as much as possible. It's fine. I mean, I'm more interested in seeing fun, cool things that people do, like the funny machines that people build in Zelda, or some cool way that they kill a guy. That sort of thing is interesting to me. Speedrunning, I salute it, I suppose, but I don't know. I play a game for the fun, the exploration, and some people for it's the fun of how fast they can get it done. I don't think there's equivalent in board games. I just finished lighting up the entire underground. I'm not even close to that. Shatterpoint. I have looked at Shatterpoint briefly when I was at Gamma. We'd like to get a copy of that here to mess with it briefly, but if I do look at Shatterpoint, it will be a very cursory look at it because I don't have time to get into a miniatures game. What's my go-to order at a normal Chinese restaurant? I don't know what you mean by normal, because there's different kinds of Chinese restaurant. There's the high-quality Chinese restaurants, then there's the typical Chinese restaurants that you find in every shopping center. Then there's dim sum Chinese restaurants. And then I'm sure there's more beyond that I'm not even, knowing. At a quality one, my go-to thing is to see what kind of cool fried rices they have, because the fried rices are so good at those places. At another one, I don't know, shrimp and broccoli, maybe. We will be doing the worst or funniest board game names at some point. Love the merch from the online store. Any chance of getting new shirts added to the store? At some point, we might add some more. I'm going to wait till post Dice Tower East. Is the new Stranger Things really that good? I haven't played it, so I'm assuming it's good. They all said it was good. What kind of pizza am I hoping for at the Gen Con party? I'm pretty sure I get to pick the pizza, so I'll probably just get a variety of types. What is the best first expansion for Legendary Marvel? The Fantastic Four expansion. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking for... Ted Lasso, Jordan says the Ted Lasso finale was fantastic. We stopped watching halfway through this season. It just was not that interesting. I know that it's probably, everyone tells me it gets better as time goes by, I guess, and it has a good ending. But we were just kind of getting fizzled out. I guess Roy is my favorite character. Now people are talking to each other in the Q&A, which is perfectly fine. Tom, what's the next position you're looking to hire at the Dice Tower? Well, if I ever am looking for a public one, I'll make it open. I'm not announcing it ahead of time. Are you kidding me? If I said right now, I'm looking for a sales manager, which I'm not, I would get 10 emails tomorrow saying, hey, I'm a sales manager. I'm ready whenever you are. No, so I'm not currently looking to hire. I'm not currently on the hunt for somebody. How's that? If you were to cosplay at a Comic-Con or GameCon, what would you go as? I don't know. I would want to go as something that's comfortable because a lot of those outfits look really uncomfortable. Are the people of Homestead generally aware of the Dice Tower's existence in their town? Generally, no. Do they know its importance? Generally, no. When you come across mechanical edge cases and games that aren't in the rulebook, how do you decide what to do as a group? We should decide to do what makes most sense. You know, like, well, this is the way. If there's a huge debate, I don't remember the last time there was a big debate. Someone will be like, well, I think it's this way, but let's just play it this way. If that's, I suppose, I've never got to a point where we've had to roll a die to determine it. But I guess that's what we do if it became a huge fuss. Any plans on an updated top 10 card games? Well, I plan to update top 10 lists as the years go by, so you'll just have to wait and see. Are you excited for Scythe Expeditions? Well, I've already played it, actually. I've already played it multiple times. But we will be reviewing that, like I said, in a couple weeks. And I caught up on questions. What do you do mid to late game when you find out you've played a few rules wrong? Do you continue to finish and keep the mistaken rules? It all depends. If we find out, and that happens a lot, right? We try to fix it halfway through. I'll say, okay, starting with the first player, we're going to start doing this right. Or, I mean, if it's like dreadfully wrong, reset the whole game. But if it's something we could fix during the game, we just do that. Tom, did you back the DC Deck Building 10th year anniversary edition? I don't remember. Honestly, I'm sorry. Do you think app ports of board games hurt or help local brick and mortar store sales? They help. Because most people who buy the app of a game weren't planning to buy the board game to begin with, and it brings more of that to people's attention, which makes them learn more about board games in general. There's no evidence to prove the otherwise. Am I happy with the newsletter? I think the newsletter is doing great, and I appreciate the folks who run it. What cookie brand do you prefer? I gotta say, I really like these new crumble cookies, and I heard one's moving to our area, so that's not bad. How is Discord going? Discord seems to be going fine. I'm not in there that much or as often as I'd like to be. But the Discord thing, I mean, how many people we got in and out? Have we broken 1,000 yet? I'm pulling it up right now. Discord's birthday, I don't care. The Dice Tower. There's 213 people online right now. And then on the bottom here, oh wait. There's 213 online. And, well, where's the not online people? I don't know. There's a lot of people. Off topic. People are talking about TV shows. All right, moving back here. Did you read the Silo series? I don't know anything about that, honestly. Was there any content that you enjoyed so much you went out and bought a tee? I'm assuming a t-shirt or something? No, not really. I mean, every once in a while I'll see it. I buy very few t-shirts. I bought one last year. I remember distinctly I bought one showing an alternate team from the What If series, cartoon series, because we happened to be at Disney and I liked it. But that was it. Do you have any insight or thoughts? I have no insight. Thoughts on why FFG has not released any new games for the Android universe? Probably it doesn't sell that well. I don't know. I would assume if it's a super hot universe. But, you know, they have to find the right game that fits in it too. What do you think about game prices nowadays? I think they're reasonable. So I remember distinctly, this is the thing I remember. So I distinctly remember that in 1994, I was able to buy a $50. You were able to buy Access and Allies for $50. I remember it distinctly. Today, that would cost $102. You know, so that's just how it works. A $25 game back then would cost $51.17 now. And I think people forget that sometimes. They forget about that inflation exists. Yes, game prices are going up, but they have to. It's not like companies are... I've met the publishers and designers, and with some exceptions, there's a few rich designers out there whose games have sold in the millions. And there might be a few rich publishers. I haven't met many of them. Most of them aren't doing that hot, right? And so it's not like they're gouging you. When it comes to games that have a new second edition release, you try to get the new version of the game, or would you weigh the pros versus cons of both editions? I probably wouldn't even think about it. I'd just get the second edition. Why would I go back and get the first? Very rarely is the first edition better. We did a top 10 list on this at one point, but that's a rare thing. When is the Summer Spectacular? It is the week before Gen Con. So last week of July. What are your positive and negatives for folded space inserts? Well, I think that they're really well done and they're light. That's a very positive thing. But I'm not the best person to ask for that because I don't use inserts much in games in general. Have I tried the BGG Arc Nova Prelude expansion? I've printed it out, but I haven't tried it yet. Have you thought about doing a top 10 worst rulebooks? No. Or top 10 worst miniatures? No. The reason I'm not doing worst rulebooks is, first of all, I would never remember. I've been frustrated at rules hundreds of times, and I'd have to open up games and look at the rules, remember which ones were the worst. Also, what does it prove? It doesn't really prove anything. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very interesting top 10 to me. Does the new Zelda make you feel differently about Breath of the Wild? Yeah, I probably won't go back and play it ever again. I think Tears of the Kingdom's like much, much better. So that's that. It was great, Breath of the Wild, but I won't go back and play it. If you're a fan of donuts, the Salty Donut in Orlando. Okay. I went to a salty ice cream place, so there you go. Tom, I'm new to the board game hobby. I love zombies, so I wonder if Zombicide 2nd Edition is a good game to invest in. Yeah, if you like zombies, you'll probably like Zombicide 2nd Edition. But you might also pick a theme. If you like Western, there's a Western version of it. If you like Westernized zombies, there's a Marvel one. There's a futuristic one. There's one called Night of the Living Dead. So there's different ones. So pick the theme you like the best. If you like, you might even like zombies Black Plague, which is like zombies in medieval times. Do you have a holy grail game that you almost put on a pedestal and treat with extra care? I don't think so. Do you think Fantasy Flight Games would consider making a board game of Netrunner rather than a card game? I guess you mean Android, because Netrunner is a card game. I don't know that it could be made into a board game. Who's that in the poster in the back? This is a poster. The artist is Jackie Davis, and it's called the Omni Gamer. So the gamer who likes everything. You can see they're holding a chess piece here, a game controller, cards, dice, a miniature, and I guess they're playing paper, rock, scissors. This is from Stellar Prints. Definitely awesome, and I love them. And that's why, because I can stick on the wall. And you're like, it's not straight. And I can be like, it's not. And then straighten it up. Have you been in any Eastern European country? I have not. Favorite things to put on tacos? I'm assuming cheese. Well, cheese. And meats. I like meats. Chicken's my favorite. Meat for a taco. Cheese. Lettuce. Onions. Tomatoes. Sour cream. Salsa. Hot sauce. Fish. I do like fish tacos a lot. Any plans to come to UK Games Expo soon? I don't think so. It just ended like yesterday. Ice cream cake or regular cake? Ice cream cake. Love ice cream cake. Any thoughts on the price point Ticket to Ride Legacy game? It's expensive, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. Shouldn't all games include good inserts? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think a game should include a good insert because a good insert costs more than most of the game put together. To have a nice, beautiful insert costs a ton of money. You talk about wanting to play less for games. I'm happy to bag everything in my games. 1,043 members on Discord now. Well, that's good. And then Loopy put up the Discord thing here. It's in chat if you want to see it. Is trick-taking games a new trend in games as in roll and writes like before? Not as much. You're going to see more trick-taking games because they're doing well, and there's been some very popular ones. But it won't be as popular as roll and write because roll and writes are just easier to do. It's a sheet of paper for many of them with some dice. Is there a game you would like to see digitally adapted? Yeah, and Trespass Odyssey. Have you ever visited India? No, it sounds like a great place to go, though. Do you still play Captain Sonar? I haven't played it in a while, but I really do like the game. Top 5 beans. I don't know if I'd have a top 5 beans. I mean, my number one's kidney beans. And I know there's many, many, many different types of beans, but kidney beans are the best. So the kidney beans and then everything else. Ooh, Mike says jelly. Clever, clever person. Yes, jelly beans. Where did you get the Ready, Set, Bet horseboard used at Dice Tower West? Well, somebody made that for me custom, and I don't think they're making other ones. So you might be able to find some on Etsy if you look. I don't know. Is it true you're coming to Brazil soon? I'm going to be on a plane in 48 hours. So that would be exciting. Coffee beans. I don't like coffee, so it can't be coffee. Where is the coldest place you've ever been? The coldest I've ever been. I guess there were times in Pennsylvania and Korea where it was like, minus 10 or something like that. But I've never been in a place that's been super cold. I've been very, very cold in my life before, but the highest I've ever been has been Minnesota, and I definitely didn't go there when it was super cold. Have you worn a bowler hat? I've worn a bowler one, but they don't look as good on you. What kind of poutine is your favorite? You know what? I don't know that I have a favorite. I like Italian a lot, actually. But I've yet to have a poutine I did not like. I love poutine. Oh, green beans. You're right. I forgot green beans on the list. Okay, so number 1 is jelly. Number 2, green beans. Number 3, kidney beans. Then everything else. Locked in an industrial freezer. Well, I've been in industrial freezers before, but I think an industrial freezer is not as cold as it can get outside sometimes, like in those really cold places. I don't think it's even close, actually. You don't want to be locked in an industrial freezer for sure. Do you need to go over to heavier games, or is it okay to stick with the lighter ones like Splendor, Katana, etc.? If that's what you prefer, am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. That's definitely okay. There is not a progression here. If someone, all they want to do is play lighter games, why would I look down on such a person? A good example would be the news editor at Board Game Geek, Eric Martin. All he does is like to play very, very light card games for the most part. He plays other stuff, but that's mostly what he likes. That doesn't make him less of a gamer. Just like if someone, all they like is Ameritrash. I just saw some people like to mock others and say, oh, you like to play miniatures, or you just like to push cardboard chits around, or whatever you might want to mock the other person for. At the end of the day, we're all playing with toys. People are now talking about poutine and about the coldest place they've been to. Haven't you been to Iceland? We have been to Iceland, but we went to Iceland in September. And I do not believe Iceland is freezing cold in September. What happened to the audio on the latest weekly roundup video? Well, Chris went in and edited that video out and took some clips out. And apparently YouTube edits the video out first, and they'll get around to the audio when they get to it. So it will be fixed, we're assuming, in a bit, but it's not fixed yet. Very annoying. Let's see here. Have you heard a funny conversation with someone that asked what you do for a living? I don't know if it's conversation, but people ask me every once in a while what I do, and I explain it, and people often think it's a really cool thing. I've never had like derision for somebody for doing it, because I guess we live in such a digital age now that people kind of expect that people do stuff like that. Have you ever had a game ruined from someone knocking a drink over? It might have happened once. It doesn't happen that often. What game would you like Restoration Games to make next? HeroScape. I'm going to answer that way whenever someone asks me that for the next 30 years. Unless they make HeroScape, which I don't think they are. But that would be really cool. Have I read the Cradle series? I think I read the Cradle series. I can't remember. Yes. I don't know. It was interesting. Did I read it? I thought I read it. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I kind of dropped out after book 3. Maybe I've only read book 2. I might read it. I don't know. Let's see here. What would you like to see in Clank Legacy 2? I think more of the same would be fine. I mean, I want it to be different too, though. But I liked the two sides of the board. I liked opening stuff up. I want to see new mechanisms and new interesting things and new cards. But the first one was so much fun, just finding new stuff. I'd just like to see more fun stories in the second one. Working in IT, people ask me to fix their computer when I tell them what I do. I know, I always feel bad about that. You have a friend who's a doctor, you find out they're a doctor, you're like, oh, hey, can you look at this? Or if anyone does anything, hey, and a lot of people don't mind that to some degree. I'm just always cognizant of that fact. Dan says, I just picked up a copy of Endless Winter. What's a good strategy to go with? Dan, I would recommend you go to Board Game Geek and not ask Tom Vasel for strategy tips. That's a bad way to get strategy tips. Hey, Tom, can you give us a bit more context what will happen with the Darwin's Journey review? Oh, well, we'll play it some more with the correct rules and then re-review it. That's all. Very simple process. What's the longest book I've read? I have no idea. I mean, the Way of Kings series, they're pretty long books, but I'm sure I've read longer ones. The shortest? I don't know. I've read a lot of kids' books. Why would you want to know about the shortest book I've ever read? That's weird. Have you read Dark Tower by Stephen King? I have not ever read that, actually. Is Diablo 4 on your video game radar? No, I played Diablo 3 and I was kind of bored with it. So, I don't know. I'd rather just play something else, I suppose. Are there any games that are out of print right now that you'd like a new publisher to take over? Maybe, but I don't know. I just think at any given point, there's amazing games out there for sale. At any given point, there's 1,000 games that you can go out and buy. So just pick the best ones that are available. Like, if I went to, all right, so let's go to Game Nerds, right? So we'll go to Game Nerds, and I just got, was that Game Nerds that did that to me? I apologize, everybody. I got hit with some sort of spam or something like that. Let's force quit Google. Google doesn't normally have that happen to it. All right. They were telling me, hey, your PC has been taken over. Let's go to Game Nerds. Maybe I typed in the wrong thing and not Game Nerds. I've been told my stream is frozen. Am I back now? Let me know if I'm back. Sorry, folks. I'm back. See, it's showing fine here. Am I back? I can't tell. Did that help? Did that fix it? Hello? Hi? Oh, I'm back. All right. Well, that took long enough. All right. I don't know what happened there, folks. It looks like GameNerds.com. So I think I hit gamernerds.com, which apparently messes thing up. But anyway, let's go to board games. So we're Game Nerds, and I'm looking for games that are available right now. I get Wingspan, great game. Arnett, great game. Arc Nova, Azul, The Crew, Hansa Teutonic. Oh, no, it's out of stock, but who cares? Camel Up, The Crew, Mission Deep Sea, Isle of Cats, Root, Cascadia, Dune Imperium, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, Unmatched, Gloomhaven, Scythe, Beyond the Sun, Food Chain Magnet, Sagrada, Sleeping Gods, Century Golem Edition. And that's just the first page out of 1 to 30 from 2777. There's all kinds of games. Meadow, Parks, Inish. There's just so many games available that that I really don't know that I think it would be that big of a deal if any game's out of stock at any given point in time. Alrighty, well. Do I miss living in PA at all? I miss the food there a lot. And there's a lot of cool history in PA too, which I think would be pretty fun. Have I read the X-Wing books by Stackpole? I don't know if I read the X-Wing ones. Is that the one where Wedge is the main character? I don't know if I read those. Just a thought, wouldn't it be cool if they kept doing horrified games with different kinds of monsters from different parts of the world? I agree it would be, but I don't know if that's going to happen at all. So, yeah. At this point, I might be way ahead of the chat. So, I'm way ahead of questions and everything. Are there any animals in particular that you're scared of? Scared is a strong word. Like, I'm not like a... I mean... I would be afraid of any wild animal that could kill me. Like if there was a tiger in the backyard and I was in the backyard, I'd be afraid of the tiger. I'd be afraid of a grizzly bear. I'd be afraid of a poisonous snake. So yes, like going to the zoo? No, they're all behind cages, so I'm not afraid at all. So I don't know what that means, right? Like is there an animal that's out there that I'm afraid of? If I saw a wild dog, I'm not afraid of that. A wild pit bull, maybe. I don't like spiders at all, for sure. Will I be getting a new Sleeping Gods game in? I don't know. We haven't got it yet, so... I don't keep track of when games are coming, usually. They just show up and we go from there. Yeah, Roland Rate says, a similar domain attack. A seemingly insignificant typo can get you in trouble. Sure. Yeah, that can happen a lot. All the time. Let's see here. Well, it's not often that I'm way ahead on questions or caught up in anything. And it helps when the video goes out. And a lot of questions I get asked in the past, and so I don't answer them because I don't feel like it, might come up with the same stuff again all the time. Anything with more legs than 2 has got to go. What? What about dogs? What? What's your favorite IP-based game that made you go check out the IP? Well, I mean, I'm really glad that I played the superhero-themed game. Not Ironheart, what's that called now? Anyway, by Brandon Sanderson, because I went and read those superhero books, which then led me to read more stuff from Sanderson. Would you rather introduce Heat or Thunder Road to a newbie? Well, it would all be based on what do they like. Do you like killing stuff? Thunder Road. Like blowing cars up and seeing crazy chaos? Do you just want a really cool race game? Heat. They're very different. One's a race game, one's a shoot 'em up. If dinosaurs came back, which would you cuddle most with? I don't know. Can you cuddle with any of the dinosaurs? Maybe a Stegosaurus. And which would I run from the fastest? I'd run from the raptors, I guess. Characters you're most looking forward to in the Marvel Zombies release? I have no idea what characters are even in it. I'll just wait till I get it. I'm a new subscriber. Thanks. And do you or your team do live streams all day, every day? We don't do live streams all day, every day, but we do live streams. We did 3 today. We'll do, I don't know if we're doing any tomorrow. We have one next Tuesday, and then we have one coming up on Wednesday. We take a look at Kickstarter Thursday. We try to do 1 live stream a day. Are you a taco man or a sandwich man? I love tacos, but I'm a sandwich man. But I love tacos. Both are good. The Reckoners. Yes, that's the name of the game. That made me go find a series, The Reckoners, which then made me read more Brandon Sanderson stuff. After I was done with Reckoners, I read the Mistborn series, which was great. And then I read The Way of Kings, which was unbelievably amazing and is the best series of all time for me. Tom, clear your last hour browser history. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. I actually haven't cleared my history in a while. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Anything with more than 4 legs, says D. Yes, okay, on that I'm with you. Anything with more than 4 legs, get them out or eat them like a crab. You didn't mention whoopie pies. No, I didn't. I didn't mention whoopie pies. I think whoopie pies are one of the most overrated foods in the world. Or shady maple. Well, I mean, like I said I missed the food. I'm covering the food in Pennsylvania. It ain't just shady maple. It ain't just Lancaster. It's Philly. Has some delicious food. There's just good food all over Pennsylvania. People ask me this all the time, what would be your dream team for a board game? I just want the board game to be done well. I don't have a dream team. You could be an unknown designer, unknown publisher. If the game looks cool, I'm on board with it. What is your favorite Guardian of the Galaxy? Groot. Love Groot. And all versions of Groot except Teen Groot. Teen Groot's a pain in the neck. But I think that's pretty sure. I think that's pretty sure that Teen anything would be a pain in the neck. If the chief were trying to avoid a question, what dimension would he flee to first? He'd flee to the, I've answered that question a million times already, dimension. Have you climbed any mountains? Says Captain Valros. No, I have not. I've climbed small mountains, but that's it, like hills, basically. Is there a game that you would love to have your own promo for? It didn't approach you yet? Oh, yes. Many, 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 many. We love to have promos for every game. Why wouldn't we want to have that? Are you interested in the NBA Finals? No, I'm not. And, I mean, that doesn't help me here in the area where our team is in it. And it's very, very exciting. And I'm glad for them. I'm happy. But I don't really care. Have I lunged across the table? Not in any game. Not in any game have I lunged across the table that I can think of. Need a shady maple con. Don't. I've considered it. Your first game to play an all-play table? Well, I'd play one of their games. Why not make it a double whammy? Play an all-play game on an all-play table. What cartoon do you like watching with the kids? I don't know. What cartoon do we all like watching together? I guess Phineas and Ferb. If you can pick one movie to go to, you're going to pick the new Transformer movie, the new Mission Impossible movie, or the new Indiana Jones movie. I've been told that I'm picking the Indiana Jones movie. My wife loves Indiana Jones, so she's very excited about that. So there you go. I have an idea for a Dice Tower Phase 10 promo, an end card that instantly ends the game. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting thing. I don't think Hasbro would go for that, or whoever makes Phase 10. Might not be Hasbro. Thanks for everything. For every time I need to know something about a board game when I go out and end up in a board game store. Thanks for showing me it's okay if my kids don't like games. Yeah, I really feel like parents, it's weird to me that geek parents, when many of us are geeks and we like board games, are so annoyed when their kids don't like board games, and yet you don't think the same thing when your parent might have wanted you to like sports or something. It's the same thing. Our geek hobbies aren't better than other hobbies. What was the most difficult divine beast for you to defeat in Breath of the Wild? The flying one, for sure, or at least the enemy in the flying one. But the enemies in again, it's so funny. You look at Breath of the Wild. The final boss in Breath of the Wild aren't nearly as interesting as the final bosses are in this in Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is just better in every way. The only thing I miss is the Guardians. Don't get me wrong. The rolling puddle of hands is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in a game. But Guardians were just, once you could kill Guardians, it felt so cool. So, alrighty. Well, that's it, folks. That's going to be all the questions I'm going to answer for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more stuff for you all. I appreciate everyone here showing up today. Have a fantastic Monday. I'll see some of you in Brazil in a few weeks. Excited about that. In a few weeks, in a few days. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel. Have fun gaming.